When I think of you, the world softens around the edges, and everything loud learns how to lower its voice, because my thoughts stop running and finally begin to rest, as if they have found where they belong. I think of you and suddenly moments align. The past feels gentler, the future feels reachable, and the present feels warm, like it was quietly waiting for your name to be spoken inside my chest. When I think of you, I do not think of perfection. I think of truth, of familiarity, of a comfort that arrives without explanations or conditions. You enter my mind the way morning light enters a room, silently but completely, changing everything without asking to be noticed. I think of you in ordinary hours, in pauses between breaths, in the small hidden spaces where my heart rests when it is tired, and somehow you fill those spaces without ever overwhelming them. When I think of you, I remember that love can be gentle and still powerful, that it can steady shaking hands, calm unseen storms, and make even silence feel understood. You are not a thought that drifts away. You are a presence that remains, a feeling that holds me steady. When the day pulls me in too many directions, I think of you and my worries begin to rearrange themselves, shrinking into shapes I can carry, because loving you has taught me perspective, what deserves my energy and what can be released. When I think of you, I feel gratitude before desire, calm before excitement, certainty before questions, because your place in my life feels intentional, like something earned through patience, effort, and growth. I think of you and smile without realizing it, because my heart recognizes safety, joy, and belonging all at once. Your memory carries warmth, like a familiar song that never loses its meaning, no matter how many times it plays. I think of you and remember the way you listen, the way you stay, the way you choose effort over ease, and that remembering makes me want to become better, not to impress you, but to honor what we share. When I think of you, time behaves differently. Minutes stretch when I miss you, hours disappear when I am with you, and days feel incomplete if your name does not pass through my thoughts at least once. I think of you and understand that love is not urgency, but presence, not possession, but connection, not fantasy, but commitment. Your face, your voice, your essence become a quiet reassurance that I am not alone in this life, even when paths feel uncertain. I think of you in my strongest moments and in my weakest ones, because your image belongs in both, reminding me that love is not about being invincible, but about being accompanied. I think of you and feel my chest grow lighter, as if a weight I did not know how to name finally realizes it no longer has to be carried alone. You have become part of my inner language, the reference my heart uses when deciding what feels true and what feels false. I think of you and suddenly kindness comes more easily, patience feels natural, and hope feels reasonable again, because loving you has reshaped my instincts. When I think of you, I see shared tomorrows, not as loud promises thrown into the air, but as quiet understandings waiting to be lived, one day at a time. I think of you and my thoughts slow down, choosing depth over noise, meaning over distraction, choosing you without hesitation. When I think of you, I am reminded that real love does not announce itself. It settles deep, it grows roots, it endures storms, and stays soft even after being tested. That is why thinking of you feels less like imagination and more like memory, like something already real, something already mine. When I think of you, I do not escape reality. I return to it clearer, calmer, more grounded, because you are not my dream, you are my truth, and that truth quietly shapes how I love, how I choose, how I move forward. I think of you and feel home, Not a place, but a feeling of being known, accepted, and chosen without conditions. That feeling wraps gently around my thoughts, refusing to let them wander too far. When I think of you, my heart does not race, it steadies, because love like this does not rush. It trusts, it does not shout, it stays. And in that staying, I find peace, I find purpose, I find you waiting in the quiet center of my thoughts, where everything meaningful begins and ends. Even after the thought should have faded, it lingers, like warmth that refuses to leave my hands, even when the room grows cold. I think of you between tasks in half seconds where my mind drifts without permission, and somehow it always drifts toward you because you have become the center. My thoughts move effortlessly around you, and when I think of you, I notice my breathing soften, my shoulders release, the day feel less heavy, as if your presence inside my mind negotiates peace on my behalf. I think of you when I am strong and it humbles me, when I am tired and it carries me, when I am unsure and it steadies me, because your existence reminds me that love is not a distraction from life, but a grounding force within it. I think of you and suddenly memories feel alive, not frozen in the past, but active, shaping who I am becoming. The echo of your laughter, the understanding in your silence, the way your presence fills space without overwhelming it, all of it reminds me how deeply you are woven into my inner world, into my values, my patience, my sense of what matters and what does not. You are not just someone I miss. You are someone who has changed the way I experience time, emotion, and meaning. I think of you and gratitude arrives before longing, because having known you feels like a gift that remains, even in absence. Your influence does not fade when you are not near. It stays, teaching me gentleness, resilience, and care. I think of you during small victories, wanting to share them, and during quiet failures, wanting to be understood. And in both moments your presence feels right, comforting, and real. I think of you and understand that love does not always need closeness to exist. It needs connection, honesty, and intention, and those remain intact. Even when distance tries to interfere, thinking of you reminds me that love is built from attention, from remembering details, from choosing empathy over assumption and patience over reaction. That reminder makes me want to live better, love better, and speak more honestly. I think of you and feel a belonging that does not depend on place or circumstance, because you are not just part of my surroundings, you are part of my inner landscape, shaping how I move through the world. When I think of you, I feel a calm confidence, not loud or demanding, but quiet and steady, the kind that comes from knowing someone sees me and stays, even when things are unpolished or difficult. You are the thought that makes solitude feel less empty and company feel more meaningful. The thought that turns waiting into reflection and uncertainty into possibility. When I think of you, I see how love matures, how it stops demanding and starts offering, stops rushing and starts trusting. In that maturity, I see us growing, not dramatically, but sincerely, step by step, with care and intention. I love you in difficult days and calm ones, in ordinary moments and special ones, because love isn't about grand gestures alone. It's about consistency, showing up, staying connected. Distance doesn't weaken this. Time doesn't reduce it. Silence doesn't erase it. Life without you feels incomplete, like something essential is missing. You are my comfort and my motivation, my place to rest and my reason to move forward. You exist exactly as you are, and still you teach me how to grow. I will keep loving you, not just in words, but in actions, in patience, in loyalty, in remembering the small details that matter to you. I will keep choosing you in quiet mornings and long nights, in joy and in struggle, because you are my home, my truth, my constant. And I can't imagine a life where my love for you doesn't continue to grow stronger every single day.